Hey y'all. So, looking at MITRE ATT&CK, I think quite a bit of people in cybersecurity know what MITRE ATT&CK is. It's a really good platform, able to understand how attackers get on your systems. Over 250 general attacks, and then there's over 600 very specific attacks. So, if you wanted to look at any one of these, you could narrow it down and can get really an in-depth detail of what each one is going to provide. So, going to click on a random one. Let's do log enumeration. So, looking at this gives a brief overview at the top. It'll say procedure examples of who is using it out in the wild, mitigation steps, and detection. They also include all their references. Really good information overall. So, just going over this one, adversaries may enumerate systems and service logs to find useful data. These logs can highlight various types of valuable insights for an adversary, such as user authentication records, account discovery, services or vulnerable software discovery, or hosts with a compromised network, remote system discovery. So, it really goes over just the basis of what it is, and then we'll go down to procedure examples. So it'll show APT5, perfect example of how on an APT5 it'll talk about APT5 has used the Bloodmine utility to parse and extract information from Pulse Secure Connect logs. And it also talks about PackU. PackU can collect CloudTrail event histories and CloudWatch logs. And then we have Volt Typhoon. Volt Typhoon has used webutil.exe and PowerShell command get event security to enumerate Windows logs to search for successful logons. So then they're able to, from there, they'd be able to check what users are alive on the network. So great procedure examples. Then you go to mitigation. So you have user account management. Limit the ability to access and export sensitive logs to privileged accounts where possible. Detections, the mitigations, you're able to implement these, and then detections, you can put this into your SIEM. So this would be more of your DCs and being able to push out GPOs and being able to manage your infrastructure. And then you have detections of what you put in your SIEM source and how you'd be able to put in your playbooks and able to actually find the APT. So really good. So then you can do monitor for use of commands, arguments, and utilities and other tools used to access and export logs. Monitor for access to system and service log files, especially from unexpected or abnormal users. If a new user pops up, that's never good, especially if it's not being issued. And then monitor for unexpected process activity associated with utilities that can access and export logs, such as webutil.exe on Windows and collect guest logs.exe on Azure host VMs. So, an awesome way. You can look at the M's, the G's, the S's, and the DS's. These are all different pages. So we're on a T right now. It's a T code. So we go from this ID of this T code with this tactic of discovery. So you go from log enumeration of T1654, and then it references the DS022. So if we want to go in here and look at more of these, simply just go to File, Data, and Source. So from here, a really cool thing that I found out, if you want to implement change to your network and able to monitor a lot of these things, is on each one of these pages there's this analytic 1. It goes from analytic 1 to 5, 1 through 5. It'll go all the way up, and there's quite a bit on all these pages if you look around on the entire web pages on the DSs. But something that's really good, if you were to add onto your SIEM, you could simply add this line. This line would be able to help you find the APTs very quickly. Obviously, it's going to be broad scope, and you're going to want to be able to create an allow list of what you do want through and a block list of what you actually want detected, but you can easily create searches and results that are going to be able to look at all this information. So it goes win event log security, just like it talked about prior to, and then you can look for these logs, and then also talk about sysmon in 11, and then with it says file ntes.dit, and then accessing that, and that. So all of these are going to be able to find NTDS, and then it's going to be on enterprise, and then the T code of 1003. So there's a lot around here that you're able to use these detection mitigations and able to better yourself and help you. They also talk about enterprise, mobile security, and ICS and SCADA systems. So able to just understand how you're able to use this and definitely a really good way of using this is perfect example. So let's just say, boom, we go back here. We see APT5. So with APT5, we want to look more into them. So if you and your company get attacked by APT5, you can easily go to this APT5 webpage. So you can go, APT5 is a China-based espionage actor that has been active since at least 2007, primarily targeting telecommunication, aerospace, and defense industries throughout the US, Europe, and Asia. So if you're one of those individuals that might be targeted, you might want to create a hunt team and able to actually better look out and find these. So these are the other names that are associated with other threat intel agencies. And then it goes all the techniques that are used. This is really good to define a playbook and how you'd be looking at the information and able to find this. So you can, as simple as just looking for these files, these could be files that they could be targeting. You could also just like, it says APT is used CMD for execution on compromised systems. Obviously, there's some very, very high level and generic things that are going to be happening. So just CMD in general, obviously you're going to get 1,000,001 hits on that. But being able to know that they're going to operate on that platform and you can narrow it down from there is what's going to help you out. So just like it says jar zip, that points it a little bit, slightly. I mean, obviously there's like jar and zip, but then they're not using 7-zip. It hasn't been known in the wild that they're using raw, or they're not using some other forms of it. So you're able to like narrow down slightly. This is a really good one. Being able to see the software, like Mimikatz, very like used on a lot of different systems, but you have other things that are like Poison Ivy, Ghost Rat. These are very like specific, and they're going to be a lot more to these actual. Obviously, Tesla is very generic, so got to know what is going to be the specific and what like hits you're going to have a lot less on, but then you also want to have it all encompassing, so then overall it's going to be able to help you out to look for that. You got key logging, all these different ways if you're able to use MITRE ATT&CK and able to find. But highly recommend overall, if you're going to use MITRE ATT&CK, just being able to understand one of these at a time. So just going one per day and able to look through all this and able to really understand what each one really is. And you go here, you read through it, understand this top part. This is a broad level. I don't really look at this when I look through it every single day, because APTs all have 1,000,001 different exploits that they use, but the mitigations to this, the external remote services, knowing the mitigations and the detections, that's what's really going to help you in the long run, just knowing how you're supposed to lock down your system, and then being able to watch your perimeter and being able to watch your systems with EDR, XDR, being able to look more in that, being able to help yourself. So I hope this video helped you out. Thank you for watching.